Well, hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Access City Council. Now, normally you see our communication director and host, David Rickelman, in this chair, but for this show, he was kind enough to tap me to fill in for him. I'm Crystal Allen, a producer with City of Las Vegas TV. Well, coming up on this show, Ward 6 is open for business. We stopped by a local shop encouraging locals to get out and ride safely. Plus, the city's e-bike ordinance has been in effect for more than a month. We sit down with Metro Police for an update on how it's impacting safety. And joining us to discuss this and much more is a public servant putting in a lot of sweat equity for the people of Ward 6, Councilwoman Nancy Brune. So glad to have you with us.
Hi, Crystal. Glad to be here with you. It's an exciting show.
I know. Something that dawned on me is that, depending on when people watch this, we will be a week or two out from Thanksgiving. Can you believe that?
I know. This year has gone by so quickly. It's crazy.
I feel like 2025 came here and then got out of here, right? Well, listen, if you don't know where Ward 6 is located, we have a little map for you outlining the area. So let's go ahead and take a look. There it is. So if you live or work in the area that's outlined there, it's the great northwest of our community. You are in Ward 6, and if you decide to plant roots and reside there, well, of course, Councilwoman Nancy Brune is your council person for Ward 6. All right, one word we can associate with Ward 6 is growth and more growth, right, Councilwoman?
Yep.
All right, well, along those lines, economic development is one of the priorities for the Las Vegas City Council, and Ward 6 is definitely open for business, as I mentioned. Well, recently, the Councilwoman stopped by a business in Ward 6 that's powered by pedals and committed to the community. Let's roll the tape.
We're here with Michael Skoy, owner of the Vault Bicycle Shop out here in the Norman Rockwell area. You've been here 10 and a half years, Michael. Tell us what a resident can expect to find when they walk into your shop.
Well, thank you for having me. And I appreciate you guys stopping in and doing the segment here. We have been open for 10 and a half years, and what people can expect when they come in here is a shop that's fair. We do good business. And we're open to everybody. All bicycles are welcome is our motto here. So it doesn't matter what you ride, where you got it from. You can bring in and we can treat you fair, and we'll do anything you need on your bike, as far as repairs or if you need to buy a new bike or anything like that.
You have almost like bikes and a museum feel. What are some of your unique pieces that you're most proud of or which hold special meaning for you?
Well, short of being called a hoarder, we like to rescue and preserve the history of cycling. I like it when we can hang something on our ceilings and grandparents and parents can bring their kids, grandkids in here and say, hey, this is what we used to ride back in the day. Bikes have changed so much, since I started riding them. And even over the course of the past 10, 15 years, bikes are 100% different. So to get a lot of movie-themed bikes in here, bikes that certain people grew up on and they can watch a movie and it's iconic, that's what we like to preserve. And you can come in here and you can enjoy the museum. You can take a walk around. And there's just a lot of cool pieces that we're proud of. We're always here to explain the pieces and where they came from and how they got here.
And you have a wide selection of bikes. So what kinds of bikes can a resident find here?
We sell all bicycles here. You can get kids' bikes. You can get tandems, two-seaters, recumbent bikes, mountain bikes. Whatever you ride, we can definitely help you here because we're that one shop that actually fixes anything, builds anything.
One of the ways that we met actually is that we have shared advocacy around e-bike safety and e-scooter safety. So can you share, you probably know that both the city and the county passed ordinances trying to improve safety around the issue of e-bike and e-scooter and pedestrian. So what are you seeing with folks that come in here?
Well, we would see a lot of every type of bike. Some of the ones were when October 1st hit. They're more on the dangerous side. We deal more of a class 1, 2, and 3. Class 1 being just pedal assist only. Class 2 being pedal assist and throttle up to 20 miles per hour. And class 3, pedal assist and throttle up to 28 miles per hour. So the difference between like a bicycle, of course, your e-bikes are going to have the full crank setup on it where you're actually pedaling. And a lot of, if it doesn't have that, it's considered an e-motorcycle. And, there's a lot more ordinances that came down as far as being street legal and what you can and can't do on those in the city.
What do you want parents to know?
I just think education is important, you know, to see something online and go, oh, I want to buy that for my kid for Christmas without actually researching it. A lot of these are rocket powered. I mean, you'll have a little scooter and then you hit the throttle and you're going 30 miles per hour down the road. And a lot of parents are buying these for their kids with no helmet to go with it. So I think first and foremost, it's a safety thing. You know, we want everybody, adults, kids, we want them to be safe. That's the most important thing for me, is just the education. When people come in here and they want to buy something, we're actually, you know, letting them know exactly what they're getting and what should go along with that as far as safety things.
Well, I think one of the things that we're finding out is, you know, our kids or young people get on these things and we just assume that they understand the rules of the roads. We see the e-bikes and e-scooters going against traffic, and so again, speaking about parents and just the basic education on the rules of the road, I think is really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's, I mean, when you're riding on the street, you got to follow the same rules as a car. You got to be on the same side of the street going in the direction. You know, in the neighborhoods here, I do see, you know, some people going the wrong way, you know, not using crosswalk, stuff like that. You can be on the street if your bike is street legal. It should have turn signals, front and rear brakes. You can actually be in the turn lane with the cars. And if you don't have those things on a bicycle, you can always manually signal where you're going. That's how it's always been. But again, I think it goes back to the education and exactly what you're buying for your child, and then the safety and the responsibility that comes with it.
Can you put the turn signals and the bells on e-bikes and e-scooters?
Yeah, the majority of
the Vault Bicycle Shop?
Absolutely. Yeah, the majority of the stuff we sell new has them already. If they don't have them, we can definitely add them to become more, you know, street legal or more street safe, I should say.
And you clearly sell helmets here. So
we do.
Yes. Thank you, Michael, for spending the afternoon with us and showing us around the Vault Bicycle Shop out here in the Northwest. We're really pleased to always have an opportunity to highlight our small businesses. And again, the Vault Bicycle Shop has been here for over a decade. So stop in. They clearly have something for everyone. If you're a new biker or an experienced biker or getting a little old and need a little more cushion like me, they've got what you need. So is there anything else you would like to share with our residents today?
Well, we're open every day for all your cycling needs. Come on down. We have a great neighborhood with lots of places to eat and check out. And come on in. We'll give you a tour of the museum. And if you need anything done cycle-wise, we're here for you.
Councilwoman, you've been holding out on us. We didn't know that you were moonlighting as a reporter and a host.
Oh, right. Well, I've had a good mentor.
Oh, you were too kind. Well, you handled it very, very well, I must say. But, you know, I had an opportunity to chat with Michael as well. And, you know, not only is he trying to provide like a fun, recreational, kind of a health-focused outlet for the community, he's also just as passionate about safety as well. Yeah.
I love the fact that he's going to be, you know, handing out the flyers that Metro and the school district has put together to just let people and parents especially know about, you know, the different kinds of bikes and 100%. The different speeds and the different laws that apply to each of the classes. So hopefully, I think it'll take business owners and parents and residents to keep our kids on safe who are riding out on our e-bikes and e-scooters and motorcycles.
It truly takes a village, and it's important to know where those differences lie, right? And then, you know, also unfortunately, we have had some people who have lost their lives, and, you know, hospitals have seen an uptick in serious injuries. So definitely an important issue that we want to make sure that we educate the public on and make our parents and everybody aware of, especially when it comes to the ordinance that you introduced that's been in effect now for about a month and a half, give or take. All right. Well, listen, we're going to get to that. We're going to break down everything you need to know, but first we need to take a quick break. But coming up, an update on the city's new e-bike ordinance and how it's impacting safety. That's coming up. Stay with us. Well, welcome back, everyone. The city's new e-bike ordinance has been in effect for a little more than a month now. And the councilwoman who introduced it is back in studio with us. That, of course, being Ward 6 Councilwoman Nancy Brune. So joining the councilwoman also are two special guests working to keep our community safe. First up, we welcome Officer Robert Wicks, a public information officer for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And also with Metro, we welcome Lieutenant Cody Fulweiler with the Traffic Bureau. So thank you both for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. So Councilwoman, I'm going to start with you because you introduced this ordinance. And for those who might not know, this aligns with the one that the county passed in May, right? So really the point of this segment is just to let people know what the ordinance entails and also just, you know, why it's important to try to keep people safe.
Yeah. Well, it's important because as we've seen as a community, more and more young people are out on e-bikes, e-motorbikes, and we've seen an increasing number of traffic fatalities involving people on those bikes with either colliding with cars or pedestrians. And so I think it's really important that people understand the rules of the road and what's legal out there. And so it's all about now raising awareness so that parents and kids know what's allowed and what's safe to keep them safe.
And you brought up a really good point. We really want to reiterate today the importance of following the rules of the road, something both you, Officer Ricks, and Lieutenant Fulweiler can speak to. But Officer Ricks, we're going to start with you because, you know, obviously you've done a lot of public outreach, just letting people know.
Trying.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been trying.
You and your team as
it's
well.
a full-time job right now.
It is, you know, and just kind of letting people know what e-bikes are, kind of what's required of people who are operating them, and what we need to do, obviously, to stay safe and obey the rules of the road, right?
You're absolutely right. And I think what comes back to is my own personal experience on this, where I'll be driving down the road and you'll just see these mass group of juveniles taking over the roadways right now. You know, and they're doing tricks, and I know they want to get out and they want to be active, but they have to do it safely, right?
That's the key.
And then I started doing a little bit more research and realized that most of those vehicles that they're on, which is a motorcycle actually, isn't even legal to be on our roadways.
You know, we want to clarify that. So that's the point of this segment. So I'm going to put something up on the screen right now, if we can. So this essentially is an e-bike. Okay, so the bike up top is what we're going to talk about first.
Right.
Okay, so this essentially is an electric form of a bike. We all know, right? That we all used to ride, used to use our Fred Flintstone, you know, foot power on that. But let's talk about this e-bike, because I kind of want to do kind of like a checklist of kind of a Q&A, frequently asked questions.
Right.
So let's talk about speed. What is the maximum amount of speed allowed with these particular e-bikes?
There's actually 3 classes of e-bicycles. There's class 1, which can go up to 20 miles per hour pedal assisted. So once you hit 20 miles per hour, because heck, I'm sure most kids can pedal faster than 20 miles per hour when they're really putting their effort into it.
That's right.
The battery will cut off. So they're not getting any more battery assistance from that. It's all the pedals doing the work at that point. Then there's a class 2, which has a throttle. So in other words, you can actually throttle up to 20 miles per hour or pedal up to 20 miles per hour. But at that point, then again, the battery kicks off, and it's all just Flintstone power, as you were saying earlier. That's getting them faster than 20 miles per hour. Then there's class 3, and class 3 can go up to 28 miles per hour. Now, I'd also like to warn people that they need to probably go back to when they were younger to realize 28 miles per hour is pretty darn fast and can cause injuries alone if that bicycle wrecks at that speed. But 28 miles per hour, that's when the battery kicks off and no longer will assist at that point, but it can be throttle or pedal assist at that point for class 3. So the best way to think about this is if it has pedals, make sure you know the class. And if it doesn't have pedals, then it's considered a motorcycle, and you need to have safety equipment, which is turn signals, mirrors, and so forth to be legal. It has to be registered, it has to be insured to be on our roadways.
Got it. If it surpasses that 28 mile per hour threshold, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Which almost everything that doesn't have pedals
is going to. And I think that's what gets confusing, because can we put the graphic back up where we have the 2 bikes? Because if you're looking at them, they look very similar, right? And if, I mean, the holidays are coming up, right? You have parents that might have, you know, these e-bikes on kids' wish lists, and they might not be able to differentiate between the two. So it's really important.
And I think that's why programs like this are helpful, to make sure that we get the education out there with the holiday season coming up, because in reality, it's super easy for parents to go online, click on an online retailer, and have this delivered to their house before the holidays without having to step out of the house and think, my kid's now going to be out from being in front of the TV or computer playing games and out being active. But we need to make sure they're safe.
So for the ones that, I mean, for those e-bikes that, you know, we are allowed to, you know, operate, let's talk about this. Where can you and can you not operate these e-bikes?
The e-bicycles that have pedals.
Right.
You can operate them on a roadway, but again, you have to abide by all the laws of the roadway when you're on there. If you're on a park, I believe you have to be where it's specifically authorized to be at, and you have to go at speeds of less than 15 miles per hour.
Okay, that's what I wanted to reiterate.
In those areas, right? And then I believe any kind of trick doing or any kind of thing like that is prohibited in the parks.
So that's good to know. So, that kind of gives us a little checklist, some of those frequently asked questions so we can kind of differentiate. I want to bring Lieutenant Fulweiler into the conversation because, you're out on our streets day in and day out. We were talking about some of those, tricks that just really aren't permitted, on these e-bikes. And let's talk about just the importance of following the rules of the road. Whether you're 8 or 48, it's really important to know that, whether you're on a traditional bicycle, one of these e-bikes, you have to follow the rules of the road.
Absolutely, and like Officer Wick said, with the e-bikes, there's rules of the road for bicycles, and you have to follow them. And we see time and time again that when the kids are riding them, they're forgetting those. And as a parent myself of a 9-year-old and 11-year-old, it's incumbent upon us as parents to talk to our children, have those conversations with them, and let them know what the rules of the road are, and have those real conversations with them and sit down. But on the flip side as well, we know that they're kids, and kids are going to do kid things. And so us as adults, or some juveniles that have driver's license right at 16 and are out in the ways, maybe even have an instruction permit, understand that when they see bicyclists or e-bikes, they have to give that 3 foot of cushion when they're on the side of the road, and that's for reasons that we don't know what they're going to do, especially with children. And it's incumbent on us as drivers on the roadway and riders on motorcycles to do that. Pay attention, slow down when you're seeing them. So it's a sharing of the road, ultimately. Both pedestrians, bicyclists, which we call vulnerable road users, and then also the vehicles that are on the roadway too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to put that graphic, or I should say the illustration back up on the visual, I should say back up on the screen again, because we were showing, the e-bike, which is obviously an electric form of a bicycle, and then also at the bottom, now, not to be confused with which essentially is a motorcycle.
Yes,
right?
It is. Call it what it is.
Yeah.
Electric motorcycle. That is in no way a bicycle.
So like a dirt bike and something going over 28 miles per hour, that's not permitted, right?
That is correct, and it is considered a motorcycle, and like Officer Wick said, it needs to have all the appropriate equipment, licensing, and ultimately, if they are stopped, there's two situations. One can be either stopped, and if they're doing trick riding, example is a wheelie on those. That's actually a gross misdemeanor, and it's trick riding. If they're driving in a reckless manner, it's reckless driving, and both can result in either a citation, arrest, and the towing of the device.
Right. So, we don't want parents, mistakenly buying something that essentially is a motorcycle, and you have to be licensed or registered in order to ride. You don't want your 10 or 11-year-old riding around in that, right?
And remember, as a parent, you're going to be responsible for your juvenile getting that citation.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
What is the age restriction for the e-motorbikes? Because I could swear I've seen some young 12-year-olds on e-bikes riding in, parks and things like that. So is there an age limit on the purchase and ridership of the e-motorbikes?
Those that are an actual motorcycle, that's all the rules to a vehicle on the roadway. So 16 to have a driver's license, instruction permit would be 15 and a half.
On the roadway.
On the roadway.
In the out where there's dirt trails and so forth, and yes, by all means, have fun out there.
Yeah, but we should definitely clarify that. We're not talking about sidewalks or, in city parks or plazas. No.
Yes,
they are not permitted.
On city parks
so let's be very clear about that. Even with the e-bikes, there are speed restrictions. So 15 miles per hour or less when it comes to parks and plazas and, sidewalks. So we just want to keep people safe when it's, all said and done. We're not trying to keep people from having fun and being able to, have some of the things that, technology has allowed us to enjoy. We didn't quite have those fancy, doodads growing up, but we just want to make sure people are doing it the right way, right? Councilwoman Brune, any other closing thoughts that you would like to add?
Well, I'm just grateful for the partnership with you all. We've got our bike owners who are also really passionate about this issue because at the end of the day, we just want to keep our community safe and our young people as well. So thank 100%. You for that.
And we want to thank you all too because you've done your due diligence. You've come up with kind of a flow chart that can kind of help people understand this a little bit better too, right?
Yeah, we've posted the flow chart all over our social media platforms. Great. I believe we have a link on our website. If we don't have it up yet, it will be here shortly. That provides this flow chart that allow parents to understand this is what I should be buying for my kids.
Sure, and we even see Clark County School District. They've come out with some visuals as well, kind of helping people understand that better. But they can always visit your social media sites, right? Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, to find out all that pertinent information that they need to know. Well, we really appreciate you all for taking the time. We know that we took you away from your busy schedules out there protecting and
keeping
serving,
our roads safe.
right? Exactly. So we thank you for taking the time, because public awareness, obviously, is part of that as well. So, Public Information Officer Robert Wicks, and also Lieutenant Cody Fullweiler of the Traffic Bureau. Make sure I had that correct. We appreciate both of you. And we were just talking, they have served for quite a long time, more than a decade, right? Officer Wicks in our community, and Lieutenant Fullweiler, more than 2 decades, right?
That's great.
Yeah, of service. So we appreciate it for sure. And Councilwoman, thank you so much for bringing up this important conversation. All right, we have to take one more quick break, but coming up on the other side of the break, a look at what's coming up in Ward 6. Stay with us. And thanks so much for staying with us. So we're wrapping up the show with a look at what's coming up in Ward 6. And you have an exciting event coming up, Councilwoman, on November 15th. That's a Saturday. Yep. We're calling it Tales and Mocktails.
Yes.
Right?
It's our quarterly book club series. We started a book club series this year to bring neighbors together. Yeah. And this year we're emphasizing books that spotlight Nevada history and Nevada characters. So I think we're ending the year with quite a bang of a book.
We sure are. You don't get much more Las Vegas than this one, right?
Yeah.
Casino, Love and Honor in Las Vegas by Nicholas Pileggi. And there it is on the screen right there. So Saturday, November 15th from 6:30 to 8:30. That's going to be at Centennial Hills Library. And of course, probably a lot of people are familiar with the movie, right?
Which
they came
I have
out.
not actually seen.
Oh, really?
I've been here 20
Okay.
years. I've never seen the movie.
Okay,
so.
I guess we have a little something. I haven't seen the whole movie. This entire. I shouldn't even mention that on air, should we? But that's okay. That's going to be our little project to go see it in its entirety together, right?
Yes.
Of course, you know, that particular movie is the character's Joe Pesci. Now he plays Anthony Spilatro, and then you have Robert De Niro, who plays Frank Lefty Rosenthal. So it'll be interesting to kind of see people be able to kind of read the book dialogue and be able to kind of reminisce on that portion of Las Vegas history. And of course, our former Mayor Oscar Goodman was also in that movie, right?
Yeah. And to help us reminisce, we're going to actually be joined by UNLV professor Michael Green, who literally is a walking history book.
Yes.
He knows, you know, the entire history of Nevada and can sort of provide some maybe anecdotes or some context that didn't quite make it into the book. And we'll have snacks and raffle prizes. So it's always fun. We always get a great mix of residents of from Ward 6.
Well, I tell you, this is a book club that all of us should get in on, right?
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you for bringing that to the community. I think it's really important for us to get plugged in to our history and also plugged into community, right? Good conversation. Can't beat that. Tales and Mocktails. So definitely check that out. Well, Councilwoman, we always want to hear from you. She wants to hear from you. And if you have something you would like to share with the Councilwoman, you can call her at 702-229-6405. You can visit her website or subscribe to her newsletter or email her at nbrune@lasvegasnevada.gov. Well, that's a wrap for this show. We had a lot.
It's a great show. I really loved going out into the community and talking to one of our small business owners who we've highlighted a couple of times this year.
That's wonderful. Well, we can count on you to get out in the community and really hear from the people, and that was a really fun opportunity to do that. So thank you so much for that. All right, don't miss our next show beginning November 20th with Ward 1 Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem Brian Knudsen. City of Las Vegas TV is streaming. You can find all of our programming or watch online at lasvegasnevada.gov/connect and subscribe to our newsletter in the closing credits of the show. We always appreciate you for watching. We'll see you next time.